The latest Streamlit release 1.47 exposes new theming configuration options, which we can use to make our Streamlit app look as modern as Anthropic's design. To do this, we can use Streamlit's new theming options. You can find them from the command line. I think if you write down Streamlit config list, they should all appear, not list, but show maybe. Yeah, they're all here. You can see all of your theming options that you can copy and paste. But if it's a little too slow this way, you can also find them on the Streamlit documentation under the configuration config.yml file. You will see the theme section, and here you can just copy paste all of those theming attributes into your .streamlit/config.yml file. There I have all of them here. I also removed all of the comments, so we're left with the basic theme. Do note, there's also a sidebar theme because I don't know why they're not friends. So the sidebar is separate from the basic theme. First, we start from the base. My Streamlit app is not running anymore, so let's start uv run Streamlit app. Okay. And then reload it. And there is this again. Button does nothing, email does nothing. This is just a sample app. First, we got the base theme. This base theme will be light or dark, depending on your preference. Here, I will put it back to light. Next, we got this red, plumpy red button. That's Streamlit's primary color. You will find it here under this primary color attribute. You can change it. That's where I put, for example, my favorite green, like this. This is your X color, and now your primary button becomes green. It will also change the color of your widgets, like the sliders and the date inputs. They will all become green instead of red. You can change them from VS Code's color palette, like this. And if I save again, it becomes blue. But I do want to use the Anthropic one. So let me come back to my website here. And here I need to figure out the hexadecimal color code for this orange. So I've got a Firefox extension, Colorzilla, which enables me to pick the color of this orange. I don't know if you saw it. It's this F0EEE6. Now I can copy paste it back here and save. And I didn't figure out the orange. This is not orange. Let me try again. There it is. There's my orange. And now my background color. Same, I'm going to copy paste Anthropic's background color. And there you got your new yellow. It also changes the background color of my widgets. Now we got our secondary background color. I think this will be, let's try this Anthropic color. The second background color is going to change the sidebar color and the background color of some more widgets in this code section and the data frame borders here, as well as here. So already you've got this Anthropic color design. Text color is going to be very close to normal black. Something, let's try something like this. If I go on this color picker, yeah, it's very close to gray black. It may not be very visible. You can change this to yellow, and it's very yellow. Let's go back to our gray black. If you don't know how the configuration impacts your app, don't hesitate to change the color, like deep red like this. You see it changes the deep red. Same for background color. I want it very green. You see that it's very green, very deep green. Okay, link color. I think this is a link here, a fenil to my website. It's blue. I want to change it to deep green. Now it's a deep green. And if I don't want my link to be underlined, put this link underline option to false. And now this is not underlined anymore, but it's still a link. Back to underlined. Now code background color. This is going to be the color for this code widget here that displays my Plotly Express scatter. So I'm going to use I think I'm going to use the tertiary anthropic color here. Something like, let me copy paste the color, text color, something like, not this one. This is too much. ECE4. There you go. You got another color here going on. Now let's go on the fonts. Now for the font here, you've got the basic one, extremely basic one like serif is here. But I want to use a custom one. Now you can find out the font for Anthropic if you head to the DevTools of your console. You try to select the text here, head to Computed, and you should find the font family here. Now font family, you're going to see that it's Styrene, I don't know how you pronounce this, and then you can go and look for this font. So I found it on this website. It's actually a paid font. It's way too expensive, but you can use the trial version as long as you don't expose it or use it for commercial purposes. Then you can just provide your email here. When you download the fonts, you're able to expose them from your Streamlit server. So to do that, you put the fonts under the static folder. So here I've got my Styrene B family fonts here, my OTF fonts in trial version. I've got black, bold, light, medium, regular, and thin. So those are different weights for my fonts. If I go back to my font here, this will look like my lightest font. So it's going to be my font weight of 100. This is going to be a font weight of 400, and this one is going to be 700. So we are going to tell Streamlit to point each font weight to its corresponding font here, font file here. So to do that, we go back to our config file, and at the top of the config file, we need to tell Streamlit to expose our static folder. Enable static serving equals true. And when you save, now the static folder here will be exposed. Now that the static folder is exposed by our Streamlit server, we should be able to access it. If I go to app static and then type like firecode VF, for example, it downloads it because this is my static firecode VF is exposed on app static firecode VF, and so this URL actually works and downloads the font. So now that the font is exposed statically by my Streamlit server, I can configure it here to download, first of all, the firecode. The firecode is open source. You can find it on GitHub here. A firecode, Streamlit release here. You can download the zip here, download the zip and unzip it in the static folder. It should be here, firecode VF. And then you configure it inside a theme, font faces. Here define my URL. URL is going to be my app static firecode, some VF for variable size fonts, and call this one font family firecode. This is going to be my firecode. And now I can use this font family inside my new font. So here, for example, I've got my firecode going on everywhere here. I want to use my firecode only for the code here, the code fonts. So let's copy paste this back to code fonts and add some more fonts. I want to add all of those Styrene B fonts here. I'm going to copy paste it because I'm a little lazy. And there you go, you've got family, Styrene B, with all of the boldness, the font family weights here. So 100 will link to the thin one, 300 will be the light one, 400 will be regular, 500 will be medium, etc. We will use those font weights later when we need to change the header, the size, no, I mean the weight, the boldness of those headers here and here. But now let's copy paste this styrene B and use it as my font family here. And if by some unknown chance the styrene B is not available, you can fall back to sans serif. And there you go. My styrene B is here. And my Fira code here. Now my base font size, let's put 66 pixels. Okay, maybe not 66, but do note that this base font size is going to impact the font size of all of the text, from headings, from your text, normal text, data frame text, code text, etc. So maybe let's not put 56. Let's go back to the default 16. Everything's broken. Let's reload. Much better. We've got our 16 pixels here. This one should be, not this one. This one here should be 16 pixels. And then we can edit the weight. So remember, this is how bold the text here is. So for my base font weight, I am going to use 400 because 400 is the regular size. If I want all of the text to be light, I can go on 100 and now it's all light. It's almost unreadable. If I want it all very bold, there it's very bold, not very visible. Try 700. Let's go back to regular 400, 300, 400. Now heading font. Heading font I think should be the same. Styrene B sans serif. Heading font normally already inherits the font here, so there's no problem here. But you know, just in case. Heading font sizes. Now this you can put 56 pixels immediately. And here you've got your 56 pixels. Let's make it 116 pixels. Way too large. But you can also use a relative font size relative to this base font size. So if I put, instead of pixels, I put 1 rem, this is going to be the size, one font size relative, I think, to this base font size. So here you should see, I think this and this, those are the same heights. If you want your title to be twice the size of your font, base font size, put 2 rem instead, and now it's twice the size. And also notice that it depends on the zoom. So even if you zoom or unzoom, it's going to citate twice the size of my base font multiplied by the zoom level. I think I should check this. But anyway, let's make it something like 2.5 rem. Notice that it's written heading font sizes. That means you can put multiple values because there are multiple levels of heading. This is a title, so if it's a heading 1. This is a header, so it's a heading 2. Then you got your subheader, which is heading 3. And you got heading 4, heading 5, heading 6 that you can access from Markdown. If you use Markdown with hashtags, with 6 hashtags, it will become a heading 6. So if you want to manipulate the size of all of your headings, you can make this an array. The first value is going to impact the title to heading 1. The second value will be the heading 2, so the size of this header here. So we can put 2 rem, for example. And the third one is going to be the heading 3, and etc. So if I save, you may notice that this is a heading 1, but it's not twice the size of my font size. This is because, unfortunately, sidebar and main app are not friends. So they're not sharing any configuration values. And I need to copy paste this to my theme sidebar here and then save again. And now you can see it's correctly twice the size. So I can put, maybe this is too big. Let's go back to 1.4 rem, and now it's a little smaller. We got the sizes. We can do the same for weights. So let's not copy paste this, but use, for example, 900, 500, and 400. And now this is a very, very bold, very, very black size. If I go back to 700, you're now using this bold almost no, it's bold. I think 700 is bold. If I go back here, the 700 is the bold one. 500 is medium, 400 is regular. That's how you see how bold the fonts you're using is. Code font, Fire code, code font size, you can use pixels, but you can also use REM. So I want to make my code a little smaller. I think it's not as readable as before, so let's try to make it bolder. Yeah, like this. Now we've got a bold, impactful code. Now base radius is going to impact the roundness for most of the widgets here. You can see it's a little round here. If I put a base radius of 0 pixel, it's not going to be round anymore because there's no radius. So here you can see it's a square. This is a square. This is a square. This is not a square. I don't know why, by the way. Or maybe there's a GitHub issue on this. But you can go back to 10 pixels, or you can use REM again. So use free REM, and now it's going to be very round, a little too round for me. This is a special case where Streamlit also defines default configuration values, a little bit like what you can see in Tailwind CSS. You can have large here, it's going to be our large. You can have full, and then it's fully round, and then you can use small, and you can use none. I think it may be easier to use than pixel values. So I'm going to use none here. I want square widgets. You can edit it for buttons here. So button radius, like this primary button, I want to have large radius. So now you got square widgets and round buttons. Border color, let's make it something like red. I don't know what color is red. So I'm just going to edit. There you go. This is red, save it. And now you got the border for most of your widgets is going to be red. Okay, for the data frame here, it's a little bit scary. So you can change the data frame border color. Oh, you know what? Let's copy, paste, and then use some of a browner color. There you go. You can change the data frame header background color. I think this color is nice. We can use the same as it should be the same as the background color, right? Yeah, okay, let's make it the same as the background color. I think this is a little ugly. Or maybe that's a little better. Show widget border. If I put it to true, you can see now most of my input widgets, I've got a border, a red border here. If I go back to false, the border for my input widget will disappear. Sidebar border is the same. Oops, it doesn't exist. True. If you put it to true, it's going to be red. And the red is a little bit too, reddish. Let's make it pinky. And there, pinky is a little better, but let's put it back to false here. And finally, our chart categorical colors. This is going to be an array of 10 colors. If there's less than 10 colors, there may be some kind of algorithm, or Streamlit may resample the previous colors. I don't remember. You can let's reuse our primary color. You can go and fetch a color palette. For example, if I show you my wheel, here is my primary anthropic color, and then I can try to find a very opposite color. For example, on the triad, there's this pink one, green color. So let's copy, paste it. And I'm going to copy paste this green, this blue, this brown, and this gray back to my Streamlit app. So here, this is my green. Then I've got my blue color. And brown color and gray color. This Adobe Color Palette is also able to extract a theme. So if I put my web app here, we can see that I've got my primary orange here, my secondary color is this one, my third color is this one, my black is here, and then I don't know why there's some blue inside here, so I can reuse my blue in there. I can use it here instead of using my child color, ash. Up, there you go. And now you got, I think I need to reload for the plotly chart to rebuild with the colors. And now you got the colors that come from the chart categorical colors. And there you go, the same for sequential colors, but here we're using categories, so I'm not going to populate it. Yeah, I think we got most of it. And this is my new Anthropic application. AI deep charts, up only 1 year, and there you go. It looks good, so you should give it a try. If you need more CSS fine-tuning, there are a few more CSS hacks that you can learn from this video and this video. I will leave it to you to check it out. I'll see you around. Bye!